Maiden Speech, Emma Dent Coad.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. As the first Labour MP in Kensington, I'm walking in the footsteps of giants. While the boundaries have changed over the years, the charismatic figures of Alan Clark, Michael Portillo, who shares my Spanish heritage, and Malcolm Rifkin created their own legacy. And I'm grateful to my immediate predecessor, Victoria Borwick, for showing the way with her impressive social and organising skills that I will not ever emulate. I was born in Chelsea, went to school in Hammersmith and have lived in North Kensington for half my life. The constituency is in my DNA. As MP for both Harrods and Notting Hill Carnival, I hope to ensure all my communities are cared for. And I know, because I've spoken to many of them, that the good people of South Kensington have had their eyes opened in the past week and are asking the same questions that we're asking in North Kensington. The horror and fear of this man-made catastrophe will be etched on all our hearts forever. The tears may never stop. I know this from the grief etched on faces of people in Ladbroke Grove, total strangers approaching me for comfort, reassurance, a question, a hug, to share their fears and disbelief that such horror could be visited upon our neighbourhood. And the burnt-out carcass of Grenfell Tower and all it represents lowers over us. And the Red Cross managing a relief programme in Kensington. It's been said before, tenants of Grenfell and other council and housing association properties have been voicing their very serious and evident concerns about poor and diminishing housing standards and how appeals, complaints and petitions have been ignored and discredited. I've witnessed over the years the deterioration and perhaps even deliberate managed decline of social housing. The frustration of a minority party councillor is huge. 11 Labour councillors and Kensington Chelsea Council listened to the concerns and put them forward and shouted out for their residents, but they are a minority. Decisions are made in Cabinet where Labour have no representation. In my 11 years in the community as a councillor in the community I was born and bred, I've seen housing conditions that are shocking. Homes growing toxic black mould, 5 children squeezed on mattresses in 1 bedroom, homework done in relays, chronic health problems such as asthma, with children being carted off to hospital at night, malnutrition rife, the simple day-to-day organisation of clean clothes, food and personal cleanliness carried out in rotas to allow a semblance of respectability. Child poverty in Kensington, the same as child poverty in Lanark and Hamilton East, 25% in Kensington. People are proud. I've seen families coming out of disgracefully overcrowded and unhealthy homes who seem organised, clean, in control, however stressed and tired they are. I had late-night emails from one teenager sitting on the stairs to complete her GCSE homework when her family had gone to sleep, the only time she could do it. I visited a proud and ambitious family where 4 children, including teenagers of opposite genders, shared a bedroom. I visited a very dear, confused elderly woman living in darkness for weeks as her electricity ring main had blown and she was too afraid of strangers to let repair workers in. All these issues and more occurred in Grenfell Tower, including power surges that blew all the electrical devices. And yet the residents' protestations were ignored and so-called frequent complainers were blacklisted. By what process of deregulation and the bonfire of red tape was this disaster allowed to happen? Some people think that social tenants have no right to live in an area like desirable Kensington. Some people demonstrate a total lack of empathy or even respect for those not born to a world where basic human comforts and a good education are given. Some people think social tenants should simply move away if they don't like what they've been given. That housing people on low incomes in the inner city, which they serve through their labour, is not a public good, but some kind of privilege to which they are not really entitled. So we've heard after this disaster that voluntary groups and charities have stepped up to deal with this, and they are wonderful, and indeed they are. But I want to live in a world where charities don't exist, where volunteers aren't needed to fill the yawning gaps, where local services have been cut or withdrawn to be replaced, as it is in Kensington, by prep schools. People of all backgrounds should be safe in their beds, have food in the fridge and shoes of the right size on their children's feet. The basic human needs cannot be met in a world of charities, food banks and handouts. In a council with £1/3 billion in reserves, I don't understand how that can be. The burnt carcass of Grenfell Tower speaks for itself and has revealed the true face of Kensington. The mask has dropped. We have poverty, malnutrition, overcrowding, poor maintenance, and underlining this, a lack of care. The people who have been failed want justice, accountability, and an honest and transparent process to achieve it. We all now have to step up and ensure that we live in a world where a terrible and avoidable tragedy like the fire of Grenfell Tower never happens again. South Kensington has stood with North Kensington, and we will work together to achieve this as first Labour MP of Kensington. Thank you.
Thank you.